Back for another, I suppose, test slash running session. We have my acquisition of a little Daypole 121 in network southeast. It's still on DC at the minute. I haven't decided what chip to put in it, and I thought we'd just give it a test, because obviously it's not going to get used in anger yet, so we need to find out if there's any issues now rather than later, even though Rails of Sheffield don't have any more stock after selling them for, I think it was £89, I'm not sure now, it's right, yeah, I think it was, or 79. So, don't know what way it's going to go off. I'll go in that direction, backwards I guess, I don't know. Rear lighting works. Well, obviously with DC we haven't got a choice on what the lights do, if any, but sounds relatively smooth. A little bit of clickety clack off the rail joins. I'm assuming it's probably geared to be relatively you know, steady. Looking by the controller on at max and by 2 marks off. It's not exactly tearing up the tarmac, is it? So I'm guessing we're getting that's full pout on the controller. A little bit of noise off the motor. Certainly won't be run that hard in general use, it will just be trundling along. Probably about that sort of speed. I will be possibly looking, depending on obviously the big picture of how everything goes plan wise, either to have a separate station platform and a piece of track going off to somewhere, which could possibly just be DC because it won't have any connection to the main layout, so you know any old DC locos could still run it in the form of some kind of suburban shuttle train going from point A to point B, which mainly obviously because it will be cheaper to do it in DC, and I can build my own DC shuttle module, although it's obviously they don't have the facilities to slow the train down before stop, so obviously you just have a fairly steady little speed like we've got now and it just lumbers to a halt. Obviously something like Everard's got with a specific lens chip to do it all is not going to be cheap, and I like cheap, especially if I can do something myself, or possibly, I don't know, bit out of my scope at the minute, or maybe even if it is DCC, having it on a separate little circuit and some kind of Arduino control or something, might be able to do something autonomously where you'll just set it up to go off the point, leave point A, go to point B, wait 30 seconds, accelerate up to its nominal speed and then come back to point A and do the same on a loop. I'm sure some clever beam has written a script for that I can acquire off the interwebs, I guess, or something can be adapted. Might have to call in some other help because I haven't got a clue on programming. Copy and pasting the script and putting it in Arduino is probably about my limits with that sort of stuff. I'm not tech savvy when it comes to that, and I don't really have any interest in it much other than the electronic side, so it's not like I'm going to learn or want to learn. You know, it's like going on holiday in Russia and saying, oh, you must learn Russian. No. Well, it seems to be doing alright and I'm boring you to death, so we'll move on to the next clip. This one on the test bed is 37275 stainless steel Pioneer. Obviously sectorisation class 37. I bought this, I think it was about £140, free delivery from D-Rails. They were one of the cheapest for it. A couple of other people claimed to have it in stock and then didn't when I bought it. But so obviously again it's unchipped, so it's going to sit on DC for the mow. Obviously we do have some TTS chips we can make fit, but we'll see. I have got a Soundtracks decoder as well, so just pull straight off the mark, no problem, no hesitation. Relatively quiet. Its first outing, which I think I'm guessing would have probably been box stock for at least 2 years, I guess. Through the silk. See what's like in the other direction. A little bit of vibration here, could be the track. Could be the NEM couplings rattling a little bit. Things only do it on that portion of track, so. Right, let's test it on some weight. A little bit of manual intervention to hook these up successfully. Being a long-bodied curved track isn't the easiest thing. But I did do it on the middle loop, and then attempt to bring the train successfully over the points, connect up to the oil tank wagons, and then pull them off unsuccessfully the points right on the end where that last tanker is. Second one toppled over, which brought the third one. If I hadn't have been standing there, hence you haven't got it on camera, because I stood there in case everything ends up over the edge. Slow speed control is a little bit, you know, this is notch 1, it works faster than you want, even with the weight. It's a little bit slower now pushing, but you can see that's nothing. There's no slow build up, it's off, and that's as slow as I can get it to go. It'll probably slow down on this corner because everything does on that end. I don't know why, but it speeds up again after the resistance of the corner has gone, or the bend. That's basically doing that. That's off. Away we go. So yeah, old DC controller, not a huge amount of finite control, which I thought it would have been with this weight on, but obviously the Bachmanns modern motor is a little bit more responsive. I haven't tried them on the PMW controller yet, but I might, if I find the Gauge Master, I might rig one up and just use that to power the Gauge Master controller. But I do have to move this soon because I need to get access to that big fridge there, which has a large container in it I need to utilise for a cleaning pot for the 3D resin printed bits and bobs that I attempt. And the next on the test bed is 37046 in Dutch livery, engineers department. Obviously due to breakdown it's been pressed into service for the sector. So let's see what happens. Again, this was bought as new from eBay. The person purchased it and never used it. I think it was another case of one of these lockdown people who went and bought everything with the best intention. And never built a layout or used it. Anyway, he said it was new. The wheels say they're new. It's not been, there's no marks on the wheels. Whoops, didn't like the sound of that. That was a Hornby Pointerus. Let's just check that, because I think the spring's gone on this one, so that, I know that goes out of sync sometimes. Just get my hand ready. Alright, that time. It does cause an odd anomaly, that point. Guess whose point manufacturer that one is? All of them, actually. I don't think any of them are Pico. But, might be safe to sit down. Hopefully we won't have a catastrophe. Let's open up the regulator a bit more. I'm not a fan of those new Hornby power connectors compared to the old ones. I know a few people have had issues with those, just because they're just too obtrusive. You get some of the Locos catch on them. Not their finest star, but then when has been recently. I was after the full engineer's grey, but I couldn't find one for sensible money. There's a couple in stores for not sensible money. But obviously my period I can get away with the various sectors for maintenance, engineering, haulage, freight sectorisation and the rail freight. My period is 80s through to the 90s. So. Probably some of the rolling stuff I'll be using is actually earlier than what was on the tracks, but you know, you can't buy everything new, or I can't anyway, not once the pension money runs out. That Bachmann VGA on the back that makes the noise, it's a raspy noise as the wheels. The Lima one's a lot quieter. I just tried the VGA on its own. The rear wheel set do bind a tiny little bit. There's a little bit of friction compared to the other set, so probably just need a clean and service. A bit of graphite or something. There'll be plenty more to sort out. But imagine if there's about 10 of those in a rake, that would get quite noisy. I mean, this is, you know, you can see there's no foam, no underlay on this track. It is just nailed to a sheet of OSB. It's not too bad. Right, I guess that's it. We've tested out the last purchase of rolling stock, or most of it. So that concludes today's running session. Well, we'll try that. I put it on track, and we ended up with a derailment because it shot back at such a speed. It smashed into everything. Oh. I think the disadvantage as well is there's not a lot of weight in it. Come on. Run out of steam. Yes, very light. Don't know whether they had any additional weight in them and it's missing its weight, I don't know. It's got potential, I guess. Probably it'll be thrown against the wall, but I think in part sometimes, you know, these crap running locos, they end up becoming demoralise the kids that are trying to play with trains, because there's nothing worse than a crap running train, is there? It begins to set the frustration, and then the mind just goes off onto something else and they lose interest. But, you know, it might be redeemable or not. I have got more options, so not too worried.